On Wednesday, we learned that Justin Trudeau's hand-picked Foreign Affairs Minister, the man he chose to represent Canada's interests on the world stage, is indebted to a bank owned by the Chinese Communist Party. Minister Champagne has not one, but two mortgages with the Bank of China, with an outstanding balance of $1.2 million. Now, the Liberals are arguing that this isn't a big deal because the minister disclosed this information to the Ethics Commissioner. But the minister's latest disclosure was only made on June 4th, just a few days ago. So did the minister disclose both mortgages when he was elected in 2015 or not? I've also heard it suggested that it doesn't matter because Canadians bank all over the world. But there's a big difference between a Canadian having a mortgage at a Chinese bank and Canada's most senior diplomat being indebted to the PRC. It's a well-known fact that the Chinese communist regime uses leverage to expand its influence. Owing someone over $1 million, that's pretty big leverage. As Margaret McQuaig Johnston, a senior fellow at the University of Alberta and a former top civil servant, said, quote, "It is inconceivable that this is not at the back of his mind as he deals with the government of China, his most difficult file. This is what China does to bring business people into their orbit and influence," end quote. So why doesn't Justin Trudeau think that this is a problem? Why hasn't he asked his minister to divest his properties or choose another member of his team to lead global affairs? This is the same minister who just 3 years ago said that, quote, "China stands out as a beacon of stability, predictability, a rule-based system, a very inclusive society." Maybe Minister Champagne should ask the 1 million Uyghur Muslims detained in China if they think China is a, quote, very inclusive society. Or you could ask the Canadians who are being detained in China, Michael Korvig, Michael Spavor, Hussein Salil, and Fan Wei, if they think China is a rules-based system. I strongly doubt that they would agree. But given Justin Trudeau once said that he admires China's basic dictatorship, I'm not surprised that's who he chose to be his foreign minister. New so-called national security law in Hong Kong marks a turning point in China's history and should mark a turning point in Canada's policy towards the PRC. The Communist government of China is violating the rights and freedoms of the people of Hong Kong. So why did it take the Liberal government so long to condemn it? In May, Conservative MPs gave Minister Champagne numerous opportunities to thank Taiwan for its donation of 500,000 masks, but he refused. In contrast, the minister was very quick to thank the Bank of China for its donation in March. Perhaps if the Bank of Taiwan had given him a mortgage, he would have been more excited to receive Taiwan's contribution. Canadians deserve transparency and accountability when it comes to Canada's relationship with Beijing, and they deserve to know that their government is standing up for our national interests. That is why Conservatives are calling for an emergency meeting of the Special Committee on Canada-China Relations. Parliament should be sitting, committees should be sitting. The Trudeau Liberals need to let MPs do our job to get results for Canadians. Thank you very much. Happy to take your questions.